It's BG here, and today we're going to be talking about Izuku Midoriya. So I've seen quite a bit of arguments where people are talking about how Izuku is a boring protagonist, he's not exciting, he doesn't do anything cool, but one of the most infuriating and ridiculous ones that I've heard is that Izuku is a copy of Naruto. Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you right now. That's ridiculous. So, before I even talk about how out there that statement is, I'm gonna give it some credence and try to give at least a couple similarities to see where this idea might come from. We start with our protagonist, Izuku Midoriya, versus Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto is an orphan. He lives on his own in a village that hates him, and he lacks skill. He has power, but he lacks skill, and he can't really use any of his power. So he's looked at as a failure, or at least he believes himself to be good, but others don't see it that way. Izuku Midoriya, he's a 14-year-old boy, and he lacks a quirk, so he has no power. Now let's look at this. Naruto as a character is someone who desires attention because everyone hates him. But the thing is, most of his actions, like acting out, painting on the Hokage statues, all that stuff, it all comes from his desire to get attention. He wants people to acknowledge him, whether that be in negative ways or positive ways. It's better than people just silently ignoring him like they do. Now, in Izuku's case, he doesn't have power, and in a lot of cases, people don't have a problem with that. But in his case, even with the knowledge that he doesn't have power, he still desires to push forward and still achieve his dream of being a hero. Now, one of the things, so pretty much the only similarity out of those two things I've just listed is that both of them, for all intents and purposes, aren't very skilled. Like Izuku has no quirk, Naruto's not good at using his abilities. So, yeah, I can see that the underdog tone is still there. But I mean, that's not exclusive to Naruto, and I can't really say it's a copy by any stretch of the imagination, actually. So then we go on to this. One of the things that makes Naruto a bit out there is his over-hyperactive attitude and his super optimistic views in a dangerous world that he lives in. Versus Izuku, who, while he is kind of like, he cries a lot, he's a bit of a coward in some places. Yeah, that's very true. He is kind of a crybaby. Granted, I feel people over-exaggerate that a bit. Most of the time when Izuku cries, it's all just a gag. He's not actually he doesn't cry at every single thing, and it's meant to be taken seriously. It's also supposed to be funny. So that's why I personally don't see that as a problem. But now we get on to the other thing about Izuku. Now here's the thing that makes Izuku such a good protagonist, in my opinion. It comes from the fact of Izuku is realistic. He faces adversity, and a lot of times you'd think that somebody, when they face all this adversity, they'd falter. Now, at first, it seems like Izuku, even throughout all the adversity, he's still going to push forward and try to fight to achieve his goal of being a hero. But fast forward to later in the first episode of the show, actually, he gets laughed at by his class. He tries to defend himself, but then his childhood, quote-unquote, friend tells him that he'll never be able to achieve that. He should just give up right now, essentially. And even though he tries to play it off that he doesn't believe that, he still thinks he can do it. You can sense some doubt in his mind. You can sense that in the tone of his voice. And he has so much doubt that he needs reassurance from his hero. And once his hero, All Might, tells him that that's not going to be the case, that he can't become a hero without a quirk, it leaves him in a sense of sadness and despair, to where he actually considers giving up his dream. Now, why I bring that up is because that right there, it shows that Izuku isn't just a standard shonen protagonist where he's just going to push through, ignore it, be all happy, be all energetic, and just get really serious and talk about his friends. No, Izuku in that moment is it affected him. it had a very humanistic response. A very like the way he reacts to things is very realistic and grounded, and that's what makes him stand out from a lot of other protagonists. Because a lot of other protagonists in a situation like that would have just given some motivational speech about why, no, I can still do this, even if I don't have this, I can still do it. Forget you. And I can see the appeal to that, but for me and a lot of others, I'd say that that's what makes Izuku one of, if not the best, of the current shonen protagonists we have. Not to mention the fact of, yeah, he might be supportive and he might not be like super, like, for the lack of a better term, hardcore, but he is different. He's a supportive character. He cares about his friends, but not to the point where all of his motivation comes from his friends. His motivation is to save people and to help others. And while that might sound a little bit generic at first, there's also the fact that Izuku is a character who believes in what he says, and he also has some selfish desires, because he wants to be the best. He still has some like times where he does falter in his views, and he does things even if it breaks the rules. He goes against the rules to do what he believes is right. So it also makes him different than others, where he's like very strict to the point and strict to the rules. He'll go against them if it doesn't fit his moral code. And that's also very intriguing to me. So it's like, if you're looking for a very hardcore, who will fight his way out of anything type of dude, yeah, I don't think you're gonna like Izuku that much. But if you're looking for a character who is very honest, he's very realistic, and he's someone who not necessarily breaks the mold, but he definitely attempts to go against it, then I think Izuku Midoriya is the protagonist for you. So, thank you all for watching my video. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more, subscribe, and I'll see you later.